Welcome, everybody, and good evening here. I'm your host, Alexander Balderas, and this is the Saturday Night Thunder Series here at Nashville SuperSpeedway. I have 120 laps ahead of us here at the fabled Nashville SuperSpeedway in the heart of Tennessee. Things are going to get exciting here as we've got a almost full field of, I want to say, I think 25 drivers or so. No lack of action here on the track tonight. Covering for David Croyt, he is at a Baldwin, not at a Baldwin basketball game. He is at a middle school conference title game in the upstate. So I'll be covering for him tonight at S&T. Also feeling a little under the weather. I apologize for how I sound, but should be getting over it soon. And hopefully it doesn't reduce the quality of the broadcast in any way, shape, or form. Just 3 minutes left here in the warm-up, and as you're getting a view, here is what the times look like. The gaps of the intervals set are the times in the warm-up session. The rest are blank. As we go on through this warm-up, let's take a look at some of the pedal inputs. With warm-up now over, let's take a look at your grid. On the pole for tonight's event, it's Matthew Weeks, followed by Jordan Kuntz on that outside lane. Then Braden Hunsinger and Cody Webster, followed by Vinny Tigner, Carter Casey, Aiden Donahue, and Kyle Jackson. Then it's Trey Holmes and Kenneth Gorel. Then moving on, it's Brad Robertson, Henry Kalhoff, Cole J. Wilson, and Joseph Miller, followed by James Thurston, Will R. Moore, Keith Ayers, Cameron Chandler, and Mike Hill. Rick Spencer-Walt finishing off this row. Then it's Chris Tripp, Tyler Sievert, Seth Morrison, Elijah Hobby, and Curtis Stanford. A lot coming for us here in tonight's event at Nashville SuperSpeedway, as the drivers are lined up and ready to go for 120 laps of racing here in Nashville, Tennessee. One of the strongest drivers in this field so far, James Thurston, lined up in the back as he is back in 15th. What are the guys to look out for here? As we get ready to get going, let's take a look at the weather. Current conditions, temperature 90 degrees and a track temp of the same degree. Humidity 12% with wind northeast 1 mile per hour. Warm evening here in Nashville, Tennessee, as things are about to get underway as we go down the back straightaway. Drivers lined up and ready to go as we are about to get started and underway. Pace car going to take its dip down pit road as we get ready to go green here in Nashville. You're on FTN Live watching the sound of Tennessee 160 here at Nashville.
Green flag.
We are green. Jordan Kuntz with a great start to go off as our leader. Matthew Weeks to land in tow. Battling going on here in the mid-pack as here comes James Thurston up 3 spots already and looking for more. He's going to dive his way back around the outside and is now battling with the 22 of Cole J. Wilson. They'll go side by side, almost 3 wide as they enter turn 3. Losing a bit of ground as Jim wobbles and bobbles, but down the front stretch, tries to make it 3 down the middle, thinks better of it. Uses that topside lane, a lane no one seems to be using nearly as much as him, and damage on the 63 of Henry Kalhoff behind him. Jim cannot seem to pass the 22 as they stack it up going into turn 3. Tight battle going on right now as the battle for the lead has just been silenced by Jordan Kuntz as he pulls away. But the battle for third between Vinny Tigner is getting even stronger. Here comes Aiden Donahue in the 82 machine as he goes up the inside of the 00 of Braden Hunsinger. silence that battle, but Jordan Kuntz is starting to just scoot away and go in his own zip code as he is almost a second clear. Jordan Kuntz doing some work out front right now. Matthew Weeks just in tow behind. Couple of close battles here as we go back through the track. Now, James Thurston has moved up a couple spots. Is in 9th now. He's able to get past the 22 and the 24. As he's on a hot charge right now to get back up into the top 5 where he should be. The battle's going on all across the racetrack right now. This is Mike Hill and Will R. Moore. Seth Morrison just behind. Cole J. Wilson trying to make the pass on Trey Holmes, which he does, and he's clear of the 24. Thurston trying to scoot up and find some more spots. He dives down to the inside of the 81 machine, tries to clear him with a slide job, and that nearly didn't work, but the 81 got tight and allowed James to slide up right on by. Jordan Kuntz still pulling away right now as he's led every lap of this race so far. Vinny Tigner keeping in check with Matthew Weeks here as he follows him just behind. About 0.3 seconds the gap. Cameron Chandler now makes a move on Cody Webster as well, the man of the 81 machine. James is quite a bit far behind the guys in front, almost a second behind, and he has some work to do before he catches up. Catching quite nicely though, the gap has dropped by about 0.2, so clearly faster than the guys in front of him. Brad Robinson, the guy he is trying to catch up to right now. Braden Hunsinger, the man in front of him. The battle's going on all across the racetrack right now. Rick Spencer Walt diving it in close as well. As he now goes to the inside with the 98 losing some ground. That's Keith Ayers. He's lost 2 spots. Rick Spencer Walt slides up the inside of the number 60 machine, and so does the 98. Losing some ground is Kyle J. Jackson as he continues to slide back. Trying to emulate what James was doing earlier using that topside lane and just has not been working. And the 57 of Kenneth Gorel with major damage on that right rear. Let's see if we can get a look at that damage. Pretty pushed in on the right rear bumper, but if it's not affecting the rear spoiler, I think he should be fine, other than it's causing him some more drag, so he'll end up being slower. There's Jordan Kuntz, your leader now, has started to fall back quite a bit, back into the hands of Weeks. That gap, what was almost a second now, has been cut in half as Weeks is starting to catch up. James Thurston still losing some time behind, as he's at about 3 seconds and seems to be stagnating. You're watching the sound of Tennessee 160 here on FTN. We'll be right back. We welcome you back to the sound of Tennessee 160 here from Nashville SuperSpeedway. After a short break, Jordan Kuntz still leads over Matthew Weeks, Vinny Tigner, and Aiden Donahue. Carter Casey rounding out that top 5. James Thurston clawing in by a couple of tenths now as he continues to charge up through the field. He's currently in 7th. Hounding drivers left and right. Let's go on board with James Thurston. Jim kind of struggling here later in the run. On lap 19 out of 120, just 1/6 of the way to go before the end of this one. And already, James Thurston coming to a bit of on the struggle buses along with everyone else. Now the gap for the lead, of which I thought was going to go a little lower, has also stagnated. Weeks just cannot gain any ground at all on Kuntz. He opened that gap up early, and that gap has stayed the same even after falling back. Braden Hunsinger on the charge, trying to get around Carter Casey. Let's watch on board with him. Carter Casey sends it into the corner. This could be the move here for Hunsinger. Can he cut low enough? Does it go in the apron? No. Stays tucked in behind, cuts low now. Is this the move? Carter Casey lets him go. Goes wide. Does it cut back to the inside? We'll see here. No, and he'll stay behind, and he will let him go. Could have made a move there, but didn't. End up thinking better of it. And the man behind him, James Thurston. He's clawing his way back and was able to pass Cole J. Wilson and is now trying to move up into 6th place. Here he comes with a run off of turn 2. Does he try and send it down the inside? Yes, he does. I think he'll clear Carter Casey, no problem here. Yes, he will, without issue. James Thurston clears and is now up to 6th after starting 15th. Let's take a let's take a look at the battle for the lead here. Matthew Weeks is hounding down Jordan Kuntz. That gap that was stagnant, not anymore. As now, here comes Matthew Weeks, trying to go to the inside of Jordan Kuntz. He blocks it off. try and follow his exact line, maybe back it up a touch and get a better exit off of turn 2 to try and make a lunge down the back straightaway. Let's see if he does that. Doesn't look so. He'll ride in right behind Jordan Coots, but that gap has fallen from what it was earlier. Jordan Coots still your leader. James Thurston still 2 seconds behind the guys in front and 3 seconds behind the leader. Making up ground, but only such, as the battle for the lead continues. Matthew Weeks trying to hound down Jordan Coots and still has not been able to try and make a move here as he looks to the inside but makes no move of it. He's closer, but now here's the move by Matthew Weeks. He'll dive it down to the inside in turn number 1 and get side by side with Jordan Coots. Is Coots gonna let him go? Maybe, but he's not clear. The battle for the lead right now. Jordan Coots trying to hold off Matthew Weeks, as these two will rage on side by side. It's Jordan Coots that is currently leading. But then again, dives it down the inside, does Matthew Weeks, and this battle is not over. Side by side off the exit of turn number 2. They'll be side by side, quarter to quarter on the backstretch. Lead now goes to Jordan Coots as he has that advantage of momentum down the back. Not able to get the momentum, and Jordan Coots is in the wall. Matthew Weeks takes the lead here as Jordan Coots taps the wall. And falls back to third, does Coots. And in that whole scuffle, slowing down that lead pack, James Thurston now has caught up half a second on that group in front. So is Braden Hunsinger, as he is 1.3 seconds behind this main pack that Aiden Donahue is the caboose of. Matthew Weeks takes the lead over Vinny Tigner and Jordan Coots as Coots made a mistake and slides back and is now falling behind. I believe the 98 just made a move on the 7. Well, he's going to have to defend it as the 7 now dives back down to the inside as he tries to make a move. The 98 up top will hold his ground and try and use that momentum on exit to clear him. Yes, he will. Kenneth Coral slides and he gets loose. Does he spin? He saves it. What a save! Kenneth Coral was twitchy and almost lost it. What a save. And it appears that he's fixed his right rear bumper damage. Well, slowing down once more, let's go back to the battle of the lead. Matthew Weeks, as both James and Hunsinger have lost half a second and even more as they drop back below a 3-second gap to this lead pack. Jordan Coots still falling back slightly as he has not been able to mount quite a charge to any of them after leading so far this lap. Jordan Coots led the majority of the laps up to that point. In fact, let's see how many he led up to that point. But right now we can see his lap times falling off and getting much slower. The gap behind second much increasing as it becomes over half a second. Currently third after starting second, and this is as low as he's been on the track so far, and led 26 out of the 32 laps ran so far. Matthew Weeks in the lead as it looked like Braden Hunsinger was closing in That's a lap car behind them. Aiden Donahue looked to have been making a move. Thinks better of it, tucks back in behind Kuntz. As the battle rages on through the pack, let's take a look at some close battles. Here is Cody Webster, just behind what looks to be the 16 of Joseph Miller, about 2/10 behind. One of the closest battles on track. Trey Holmes is another close battle, and that's with Carter Casey. Lap 35 out of 120 here in Nashville. As now the 24 makes a move on Carter Casey, he'll slide right by. And with that, let's go to an FTN Crank It Up. As we come back from our FTN Crank It Up, it looks like we've got a few pitters now, as into the pits goes Matthew Weeks. Well, he's behind that brick wall, that building, but he is in pit road. Currently getting 4 tires and fuel, and a couple others as well, as here he comes. That's the pace car and is now out of pit road. Brian Donahue, or Aiden Donahue, excuse me, also pit, but he also almost was pit road. Our leader now is Trey Holmes with Carter Casey just behind. Cody Webster now trying to file into the mix, as he's just off the exit of turn 2. James Thurston also came in and pit as well. The only remaining people who have not come into pit within the last pit cycle is Cody Webster. Oh, Trey Holmes, I believe is, yes, he's on down pit road. So is Carter Casey. Tyler Sievert and Cody Webster stay out. Cody Webster is your leader in pit cycle. Looks to be slow, but it's not slowing for pit entry. Tyler Sievert is slowing for pit entry. So Cody Webster will lead a lap and is staying out. for who knows how long. Let's get a look at his inputs. No, he's still staying out. What an odd strategy to run. Riding on board with Cody Webster as he continues to be in the lead after staying out much longer than the rest of the field. Is getting caught rapidly by the cars behind him, so I don't know how much of an effective strategy that this is. His 2-lap average is a 32.815 and is only slowing down and getting worse. Oh, and here he comes. He's now pitting. As he comes down pit road. He remains the leader, but now the one who is going for the lead is Vinny Tigner. Makes the move on Matthew Weeks. Unexpected change for the lead. As Cody Webster pits, Tigner takes the lead at the line. Vinny Tigner is in the lead. Matthew Weeks just behind. Aiden Donahue in third. Jordan Kuntz in fourth. And James Thurston in fifth. Things are changing rapidly here in Nashville. Vinny Tigner now trying to hold off and pull away from Matthew Weeks, and it seems as though he's just done that. Aiden Donahue now a full second behind, with Kuntz just in, Jordan Kuntz just in tow, as there is James Thurston in the back of your shot. Pit strategy in full effect here in Nashville as the pit window now closes. Farthest back of the top five is James Thurston, just 1.6 seconds behind. Now, his tires are a bit older than the rest of the pack here. He did pit the earliest. Same lap as Vinny Tigner, though, and Tigner seems to be doing just fine for himself, so maybe he can catch up if all these guys continue to battle it out. We'll have to see. Your top five hasn't changed at all, as we now are just 2 laps away from 50. The top five is actually the closest group on the racetrack together. Everyone else is split by seconds. Now here is a problem that could pose an issue for James and the rest of these guys. As that is the 81 of Cody Webster in 23rd as a lap car. He's going to rip the top of the marbles and try and get around James Thurston. He'll get side by side, and I believe James just let him go. And that is a smart move by James. Doesn't want to do any battle, doesn't want to lose any time, and is hoping that the men in front of him try and battle it out and lose more time. cut below Jordan Kuntz, and Jordan will do the same thing. Opens the door for James Thurston, swoops in, and takes the spot, and go ahead and parks it on Jordan Kuntz's nose. What a move by James Thurston. Opportunistic, saw what was happening in front of him, and just dove it in there and tried to make it work, which he did. Oh, in the wall! Did Kuntz put James in the wall? I don't believe so, but now these two have some catching up to do, as James is still 1.4 seconds behind our leader, Vinny Tigner. Aiden Donahue now trying to catch up to Matthew Weeks as well. These really four have been around each other this entire race so far. Nothing has changed the hands of the five drivers ahead except for James Thurston. He started all the way back in 15th and is now in the top four. And trying to hound down the leaders. Just gained 2/10 in the last 5 laps. Gaining slowly but surely. Elijah Hobby behind the 28. That, I believe, is a lap car. Oh, no, he is the lap car. I see. Passes and makes the move. Will Armour is who I was getting confused with. And so that confusion sorted. Thurston and Kuntz still making moves and inroads to this battle of the top three, but this lead is getting smaller for Vinny Tigner as Matthew Weeks has caught the 12 car. These two now getting closer to battling it out as the 11 goes for the 12. One number up in quick succession, one spot in quick succession. Tigner wanting to hold on for as long as he can as the bottom of the top five, Thurston and Kuntz, are catching still. Tyler Sievert in that 77 car in the mix as well will be the deciding factor if he decides to run that middle lane. But wherever he goes, once James starts to claw in, will be whether or not James decides to go for a move or not. It could hold him up. Vinny Tigner still leading over Matthew Weeks, Aiden Donahue, James Thurston, and Jordan Kuntz as this battle only continues to get stronger. The gap between the leader and the gap between third have started to spread out a little bit as James Thurston is now falling behind, but I believe that's due to him battling Tyler Sievert in that number 77 machine. Internet issues for Vinny Tigner as he continues to link down the back straightaway. Seems to be under control now. Kenneth Gorel back into pit road. What is this for? On lap 37 of his stint so far, so I guess choosing to come in early compared to the rest of the people. We're about halfway through this pit cycle here in Nashville, Tennessee, as Vinny Tigner has started to once again pull away. Been completely green so far, not a caution, not a wreck in sight. Clean and green has it been so far, and the lead has changed hands 3 times. Here's Kenneth Gorel as he exits pit road just ahead of Aiden Donahue. He'll slide right back in behind as there he is. So now you gotta wonder, what is pit stops gonna look like on this next pit cycle? Who's gonna go longer and who's gonna go shorter? Well, as we saw, James Thurston went a little shorter than everyone else, decided to pit a few laps early. That caught him some time, in which was smart, but now he's losing that time because of how much tire he had to burn earlier. And so now Kenneth Gorel trying to pose a move on our leader Vinny Tigner as he gets back around. Matthew Weeks under fire from Aiden Donahue. Kenneth Gorel posing as a lap car has now brought these 3 together closer than they were earlier. Now, it is a neck and neck and neck lead, battle for the lead. James Thurston continues to fall back at 1.7 seconds just a few laps ago and has lost half a second now to 2.352. Weeks now on the inside of Vinny Tigner as he's trying to make the move with Aiden Donahue in tow. Slides along the inside of the number 12 machine as these guys continue to get racy. Things will continue to get even more exciting. Now, here back to the inside. Matthew Weeks. Vinny Tigner trying to do his best to hold on along that outside lane and has done just that, even with the help from Aiden Donahue as they go almost 3 wide. Thought better of it at the last second to Donahue. Vinny Tigner blinking with internet issues down the back straightaway. This is hampering his defense for the race lead as he pops back into place. Still side by side. But with that help from Aiden Donahue, Vinny Tigner has been able to hold his own on that outside lane, even with a hard charging Matthew Weeks trying to get that spot. As the battle is 3 wide for the race lead down the back straightaway as we go into turn 3. Aiden Donahue tried to make a move on that inside lane, got his nose in place, was unable to make the move, and the battle for the lead stays the same. Still side by side with Weeks and Tigner. Weeks now looking to have that advantage without Donahue to push the number 12 machine of Vinny Tigner, as Noe gets a worse exit and Tigner still stays in touch. Now, that move on the bottom side might be too tough for Tigner to handle. Will he have the run off the exit of the corner? Yes, he will. Oh, bobbles and gets loose. 3 wide once again for the race lead. Slots back in behind does Aiden Donahue. Almost had the move. Is Weeks. He goes back to pushing the 12 car. Weeks down to the inside lane one more time, trying to make that move happen. Has not been able to get clear of that 12 car. Only been able to stay clear of Aiden Donahue. Lap car coming into fray just misses Matthew Weeks as he enters pits road. And Vinny Tigner will go ahead and take the race lead as Matthew Weeks drops 2 spots behind Aiden Donahue. So clearly that lap car spooking and getting in the way of Matthew Weeks. Has slowed him down a bunch. Battle for the lead unfolding now as here comes Aiden Donahue as he now looks into the picture. Goes up the inside of Vinny Tigner. Does he make the move? As here comes Matthew Weeks, that gap is shrinking. Donahue still looking to the inside of Tigner. Hasn't been able to get the move made. These two battling it out. This whole top 3 still close as ever. Now, Coots able to get by Thurston in the back. Tigner maintains his lead, has held off Aiden Donahue in his charge, and Matthew Weeks will have to get by 2 people if he wants to lead back. Things heating up here in Nashville as we are getting ready to go just past halfway in this race. We thank you all so much for watching. We will be back after this short break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here in Nashville, and things are heating up as we now have pit cycles just beginning to go underway. Vinny Tigner pit from the lead. Aiden Donahue and Matthew Weeks still leading your 2 drivers out front right now. These guys stayed out for a couple extra laps. Let's see if they come down pit road this time. A lot of flames coming out of the sides of both of them as Donahue comes into the pits and Weeks stays out. Thurston also into the pits as Kuntz stays out. Now Matthew Weeks comes down pit road, and Jordan Kuntz continues to stay out. So right now, Jordan Kuntz still staying out. How much fuel has he gotten that thing? Team Thurston hit a couple laps before and is now ahead of Aiden Donahue. What looks to be Vinny Tickner and Matthew Weeks as well. Now looking to the inside, splits it 3 wide, goes Aiden Donahue on James Thurston. As he'll dive it up the inside, does he make the move? Yes, he does, and he's clear of James Thurston. As Jordan Kuntz now comes down pit road. Trey Holmes comes down pit road as well, so does Carter Casey, which means your leader should be now Aiden Donahue, as he quickly pulls away from James Thurston. There's 38 laps to go here in SNT, and things have spread out a bit, and things have changed a bit. Tyler Sievert passes Carter Casey on his way out of pit road. Cole J. Wilson now hounding down. Somehow he has clawed his way back up to third on a miraculous pit cycle. He finds himself behind in third, as now James Thurston claws back the lead to Aiden Donahue. As the battle for all 3 of these positions is included by the 11 as well. Kuntz now drops back to 8. Vinny Tickner on his path of revenge and now makes it past Matthew Weeks. He gets the spot and moves up into 4th. Hard charging Vinny Tickner right now as he pitted the latest out of all of these guys up ahead. Actually, no, the earliest. Excuse me, he pitted the earliest. And is still trying to hard charge, but right now James Thurston all over the back of Aiden Donahue, and so is Cole J. Wilson to the back of him. Tyler Sievert comes down pit road, and so does Henry Kalhoff, I believe. Yes, there he is. He's just exiting his pit stall. Woody Webster comes down pit road as well as we finish up the pit cycle. Back to the matter at hand, here is James Thurston trying to square up and move as now Cole J. Wilson closer than he ever was before. And the battle of this top 5 continues. Vinny Tickner with an aggressive move off the apron gets the spot made. I gotta look at that again. Looking at a replay, let's see how he made this move. Tigner considers himself close. And this is the lap leading up to it. Spins it down the inside, bold move. Slides up right ahead. And I believe he also just made a pass on James Thurston. Yes, indeed he did. He passed James Thurston and is now hunting down Aiden Donahue with just over 30 laps to go. This top five is hounding down each other as into the inside goes Vinny Tigner. Aiden Donahue taps the wall and leaves the door open for the 12 to scoot on by. James now looking in the mirror as well. Matthew Wicks in tow behind the 96. As there to the inside goes James Thurston on Aiden Donahue as Vinny Tigner is not even clear himself, but he's clear now. Vinny Tigner back up to the race lead as our top 8 is within 1 second of each other. This whole pack has brought up closer than ever before. They're in a line now. The battle for the top 5 is only stronger. Here comes Jordan Kuntz behind Matthew Weeks as he makes it 3 wide with James Thurston. 3 wide up the middle. Does it work? James, hold on the outside, still 3 wide. Squeezes does Weeks. James concedes the position and will now have to deal with the 22 of Cole J. Wilson. Aiden Donahue losing spots as well as here comes Jordan Kuntz all the way up to second from 8th, just 10 laps to go. Wow. And we still have 30 laps to go. They can't even make it on fuel. The battles continue here as Kuntz battling Tigner for the lead, and Kuntz is able to get by. Jordan Kuntz on 6 lap fresher tires than the man behind him in Vinny Tigner, and as well as the rest. So Kuntz may do his usual style and try and get a gap here, which is, I believe, what he might do. This top 8 has been proved to be nothing more. Well, no, actually, that sounds condescending. They've put up so much great racing. It's been nothing more than exciting entertainment here in this race so far. Just under 30 laps to go. Absolutely immaculate stuff here as Jordan Kuntz is starting to gap Vinny Tigner and the rest of the guys in line. Here comes Aiden Donahue. He goes up to the inside of the 81 machine. Actually, no, he's defending from all these lap cars now trying to pass. Jordan Kuntz still holding off now 0.7 of a second higher than the man behind him. Vinny Tigner incline as well. The top 5 has spread out quite a bit as Kuntz has now gapped Vinny Tigner by a second. And we've seen this behavior before. He did this at the start of the race, if you remember. But he was eventually caught by Matthew Weeks, got into the wall, got squirrely at least, and slid back quite a few places. But now, everyone beyond second, about second through sixth, or excuse me, seventh, are within 2/10 of each other. So battle's continuing to heat up here. It all decides on how long Jordan Kuntz can keep that spot up ahead of him. Kuntz now may be starting to fall back a bit. And those tires that he pushed on may be starting to age. Gap seems to be going down, stagnating at around a second right now. Gap only increasing with Kuntz in the lead with just 20 laps to go here in Tennessee. As we reach just 20 laps to go, let's see if we can't get an FTN crank it up. Back here live in Nashville, Tennessee. You're watching the Sound of Nashville 160 here on FTN with just 15 laps to go. Jordan Kuntz is our leader, just 1.5 seconds over Vinny Tigner and Matthew Weeks, and the gaps only continue to grow. James Thurston is all the way back here. Well, I believe it's been said that I'm assuming that James is saving fuel. Let's take a look at his inputs and let's ride on board to see if that's true, because there's just no way you've fallen back that much because you're slow. Oh, yeah. Jim's saving fuel to try and get to the end of the race here, as he cannot make it on fuel. Oh, yeah. And Kuntz is nowhere close to doing that. Neither is Tigner, Weeks, Holmes, Donahue. Huntsinger is, though. Huntsinger. Wilson is not. Chandler's not either. And we all know James is. There you go. He's seeking lifts. Lift. Off. And he gets on right about now. There you go. So, pit strategy and fuel games coming into the mix here in this late stages of this Nashville race. Jordan Kuntz, unaffected. He maintains his 1.5 second lead, more than that, 1.7 second lead on the field, as the rest of everybody behind realizes they might not have enough fuel to continue the race. So, unless Jordan Kuntz and the rest of these guys up front have a spare gas tank that I don't know about, I don't know his chances of getting to the end. That is, unless, while he was slow in 8th place earlier this race, he ended up saving fuel. And it seems as though nothing can be able to stop Kuntz so far, as that lead, even though diminishing by 1/10 of a second, still looks to be up and running. With just under 10 laps to go now here as we come with 8 to go. Kuntz still leads over Tigner, Weeks, Holmes, Donahue, Huntsinger, and Thurston. The rest of the people behind are saving fuel to get to the end, so it's all eyes on Jordan Kuntz and whether or not he can make it to the end. Everyone else realizing this fate too, as they are now... Oh, I believe Vinny Tigner's pitting! Yes, Vinny Tigner's pitting! Hayden Donahue stays out, so does James Thurston. They'll try and make it to the end. Matthew Weeks out on the racetrack as well. People are dropping like flies. All eyes on Jordan Kuntz as he goes down the back straightaway here with 6 laps to go, coming to 5. If he's able to stretch out whatever vapors he has left in this tank, it will have been the longest stint that anyone has run this race. Laps wind and tick down as we get below and just under 5 laps to go with 4 to go at the line. Just 8 miles of racetrack left to cover for Jordan Kuntz as he hopes a yellow doesn't come out here in the next 4 laps. It'll be a completely green race here from Nashville SuperSpeedway. Jordan Kuntz now doing battle with a lap car as the gap to second is still 2.5 seconds over. With just 2 laps to go, Jordan Kuntz is nearing in on what could be a phenomenal achievement. As he rounds out turn 4, he's just got a 1 lap more to prove himself. White flag in the air for Jordan Kuntz. It's the final lap here in the Sounds of Nashville 160. Down the backstretch for the final time. Does he have enough fuel to make it? By no question, the answer to that is yes. The fuel holds up to the checkered flag. Jordan Kuntz wins the Sounds of Nashville 160 and wins at Nashville SuperSpeedway. Unbelievable. The fuel holds on, and so does Jordan Kuntz. Jordan Kuntz, your winner here from Nashville SuperSpeedway. I don't think he's gonna burn it down. Does he have enough fuel? I think Jordan Kuntz just got up and walked away. Well, in that case, let's move on to the results. Your winner here from Nashville SuperSpeedway, Jordan Kuntz, rounds out with a win over Matthew Weeks. Trey Holmes, Aiden Donahue, and Braden Hunting are your top 5. Carter Casey just ahead of James Thurston, Cameron Chandler, Cole J. Wilson, and Vinny Tigner rounds out the top 10. Then it's Rick Spencer, Walt, Brad Robinson, Henry Kalhoff, Kenneth Gorel, Cody Webster, Kyle J. Jackson, Tyler Sievert, Keith Ayers, Seth Morrison, and Elijah Hawhey in 20th, as they are all multiple laps down. And bringing up the rear, Mike Gill, Chris Stanford, Joseph Miller, Will R. Moore, and Chris Tripp is out. Only DNF of the race. Well, Jordan Kuntz is your winner here from Nashville SuperSpeedway. And let's see if we can't get some interviews in place. Well, there's no Trey Holmes, it looks like. So, let's talk to second best. Well, it's Matthew Weeks. So, let's go ahead and talk to him. Matthew Weeks, so close in second place. You had many chances there earlier on in the race, but congratulations on getting second. Could tell us what happened? It seemed like all you guys were saving. I saw Thurston drop back about, I think, 8 seconds and like a few laps, and I was wondering, did he pit? No, he was just clutching and turning on and off the ignition so he could just get to the finish. That way he wouldn't run out of gas. So So it seems like everybody in the end there kind of just forgot about fuel saving, or unless they didn't expect it until the end. But otherwise, you all made it to the checkered flag, which can't be said for some of the people in the back who, maybe didn't make it on fuel, but surprisingly clean and green. Not a single wreck. Pretty exciting, honestly. I didn't expect all you 8 bunch of guys to group back up there in the last about 20 laps or so. It went from being spread out 2 seconds between each car to all cars in the top 8 under 1 second at one point. Yeah, you guys were side by side for I think about a collective maybe 4 or 5 laps, and you really couldn't tell who was going to try and get the position. But overall, the battles on track between people side by side was pretty phenomenal, and I'd say the on track product was pretty good. Yeah, I can imagine a full 120 laps, and it came down to fuel at the end. I can imagine. Oh, so close, but you came second because Kuntz just decided to wax the field there on that last run. I'm not even sure where he came from. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting him to come back after his little incident when he got in the wall and drop back a couple spots. I thought that might be the end, or like what happened earlier when he got out that second lead, kept it for 20 laps or so, and then started falling back. I was expecting him to keep falling back, but he actually increased his time after you guys had to stop and save fuel, so I was quite surprised. I gotta say, those extra few laps of when he pit must have worked out in his favor. But you come home second, which is not a bad way to finish it out at all. And after this second place finish, what do you think your hopes are looking forward to the championship later on the season? Well, once again, congratulations on second here in Nashville. Oh, so close, but you'll get him next week. The voice of the man in second, Matthew Weeks. Let's go talk to our race winner. Jordan, I am shocked and in disbelief of what I've just seen in the last 20 laps. Tell me how you did it. Well, with two back-to-back wins, you're looking pretty hot. What are your thoughts on the championship going forward? Well, I hope and wish you the best of luck. Clean and green the entire way by. That was a shock to me. One thing I want to add and ask there is that one section with about 20 laps to go, I think, when the top eight all grouped together with about 20 or so laps to go and went from about 2 seconds between each car to 2/10 between each car. What was that like? Good strategy call, indeed. One other question. What's the significance of the no burnout? Well, all right. Well, congratulations on your win here from Nashville tonight, and hopefully this charge can continue in your hot start to the season, picking it up before we get near to the championship. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and hope all goes well later in the season. Well, that was Jordan Kuntz, the man of the 99, who comes home in victory lane here in Nashville, Tennessee. And with that being said, we're coming up on the end of our broadcast here tonight, folks. Thank you so much for watching here. I've been Alexander Balderas here for FTN, covering for David Kreutz. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming to watch. It's been a pleasure being back behind the computer again, for being your producer and commentator. Thank you so much, and I appreciate all that goes on. And before we go off, I have to do the usual here. Thank you so much. I guess that's... All right, well, that's not showing. Oh, they're all not showing. Oh. If you want to learn more and hopefully maybe be behind one of the broadcasts or join any of the leagues that we cover, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen right now and join to tune in and to be able to join some of the other broadcasts and some of the other leagues that we cover here at FTN. It'd be an absolute pleasure for you guys to join, and we thank you so much. If you want to get directly involved with iRacing, scan this QR code on your screen right now, and you will be taken to the NASCAR iRacing website where you can sign up. Or if you'd like to sign up for iRacing, go to iRacing.com for all of their member sites, member inclusivity and member sites, as well as to get a membership and be on track with us tonight. We thank you so much once again here from FTN and everyone back at home. My name has been Alexander Balderas, your producer and commentator here for the Sounds of Nashville 160 here with the Saturday Night Thunder series on FTN. It's been a wonderful night of hosting here, and I appreciate everyone who has tuned in. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good night back at home.